Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang on morning number 1728, consecutive days in a row on morsels of a thought, hopefully of wisdom, that we hopefully learn the right things to do. The reason is that wisdom is comprised of knowing the right thing to do and then doing it is what creates virtue. There's magic in that. We've quoted quite a few people who all agree that actually taking the action is magic and it creates virtue. So we're bringing more virtue into the world with morsels of a thought of wisdom. So since I'm not that wise, I am bringing you the rules, not Your Mother's Rules, The New Secrets for Dating by Fein and Sherrie Schneider, New York Times best-selling authors of the rules, now with their daughters too. And we are going to read from TTYL, Always End Everything First. AEEF. Get out of there. Get out of there. In our first book, the authors Ellen Fine and Sherrie Schneider are the geniuses and they are mavens of dating. They tell you how to date because when we date, biology takes over. And the theories are that the biology is the same, even though technology is different. So here we've got not your mother's rules, but we've got everything up to the technology. TTYL. The authors say, in our first book, we told you to end phone calls first. The same rule applies to every new form of communication that has cropped up since then, and to dates too. We call it getting out of there. Why? So you don't talk too much and you leave him wanting more. Remember that sometimes reverse psychology works best. If you want more from a guy, give him less. The busier you seem to be, the more curious or interested he'll become. So, the busier you seem to be, the more curious or interested he'll become. While all of this newfangled or old communication, from calls to the landline, to video chatting on the computer, to text chats, to Skype, is about wowing a guy with your fascinating personality and showing him how cultured and witty you are, it's also about, quote, getting out of there, end quote, in 10 to 15 minutes of active chatting so that he is forced to ask you out if he wants to continue the relationship. GChat and FaceTime are not dates. Some women feel rude or disingenuous about ending chats first, but it's not a game. Doing so indicates that you have a full schedule and healthy boundaries. Are you with a friend, at a meeting, at the gym, in class, or with your book club? Guys who wonder where you're off to are more likely to text again and ask you out, even if they claim they are receptive to girls who chat openly and frequently. If you are worried about being perceived as abrupt, remember that guys have no problem ending a conversation first. You could be in the middle of a great chat and then, bam, he says he has to go. The football game just started or his roommate walked in. Remember that guys can be your adversary. They have the power to turn it off in an instant, to never text again, or to never ask you out. You can protect yourself by ending every interaction first. Women are different from men. That's in your mother's rules. Well, they don't call it that. It's called the rules. Women are different from men. Biologically, psychologically, different. Okay, so the authors continue. Let's be honest here. It's not that you can't end a conversation first, it's that you won't. You become so obsessed in a conversation that it's as if you are in a trance. Maybe your BFF is sitting right next to you screaming, "Stop texting already!" and actually tries grabbing your phone out of your hand, but to no avail. Or maybe you grab your phone back and continue texting. You ignore your girlfriends or family while sneaking texts under the table at restaurants or by excusing yourself to the bathroom. Your friends and parents eventually get fed up. Girls have convinced themselves that they will lose a guy if they end the chat too quickly. They are afraid he'll lose interest and move on to the next girl if they, quote, get out of there first. I am so guilty of that. I am unable to do that. I am so not leadership quality material. I am so, you know what? I've got to change that mantra to I am leadership quality material. I have the ability to detach. I am a wonderful woman. I am amazing, and anybody else who wants to get to know me is very lucky to know me. And I this and I that. Give yourself a lot of good mantras, okay? Okay, back to the book. Of course, the authors continue. We know the opposite is true. It's the opposite of getting to the next girl if you don't let go. If you let go. If a guy likes your look, spoke to you first, called or texted you first, and you end the chats early after 10 or 15 minutes of active back and forth, he will try you again or ask you out. If he really stops texting you, it's not because you, quote, got out of there, end quote. It's because he just doesn't like you enough. You don't want to keep chatting with someone who isn't interested enough to text you again. You can say, I only have 1 bar left on my phone, or gotta take this call, or have to study, or work is crazy, or spin class starts in 5 minutes. You don't have to have the perfect conversation ender. Anything will do. There's no reason to feel bad. Now, Ying's classic is, I left the oven on, fuck, and run away. Well, I mean, I don't have to say it like that, but you know. The authors continue. Remember that even therapists go by the clock and tell patients in the middle of a good cry, your time is up. So we are reading Morsels of a Thought number 1727. Hopefully that we can learn the right things to do from other people who have wisdom, and then we can take action, which creates virtue. So knowing the right thing to do is wisdom. Taking the action and doing it is virtue. Morsels of a Thought of Wisdom. We are reading Not Your Mother's Rules, the new secrets for dating by Ellen Fein and Sherrie Schneider, now with their daughters too. Okay, so why can't you end a casual text conversation first? If you can't figure out something creative, just write, sorry, gotta go, end quote, and turn off your phone for a few minutes to create space and distance, just like we told you in our first book to set an egg timer to end calls. If you truly feel incapable of ending a conversation on your own, ask a friend to send you a reminder. If you know you can't trust yourself, don't answer him at all. Leave your phone in your bag, in the car, or in another room. This is a very key trick to do. If you leave your phone elsewhere, then you can't use it, right? That's a good trick to use. We women who can't end conversations first, we love conversation. What's there else to say? What else is there to say? We just love to talk. We love to hear the sound of our own voices. Ah, just kidding. Okay, back to the authors. And don't wait for that perfect moment or lull in the conversation to end the texting. Who knows when that'll be? Just keep track of time and end the chat first. G2GO. G2GO. Those are letter G, numeral 2, letter G, letter O. Okay? Don't run the risk of his shutting it down first. You will be the one wondering why he had to go, and you will start spinning it into something bad in your head. If he ends the conversation first, you might feel so insecure about the relationship that you text him again later to make sure everything is okay and wind up breaking another rule. It's like fairy dust. When you don't let him end interactions first, you somehow cast a spell on him, and he always wants you more. Tips for keeping the conversation short. Always write less than he does. Don't ask too many questions. Try to answer his questions in a sentence or two, but in a witty way. Don't introduce too many new topics. lest a text fest develop. In an attempt to bond with a guy or to catch his interest, a woman will keep a conversation going by answering his questions in great detail, asking him questions, and introducing many new topics. Here is an example of what not to do. Him, hey, what's up? Her, just studying. I have a biology test tomorrow. My roommate is sick. She got so wasted over the weekend. She threw up all over the new rug in the bathroom. I told her not to have more than one drink, but she never listens. Him, bummer. Who's your teacher for bio? Her, Rinaldi. He's the worst. My friend Jackie is in the class and hates him too. Do you know Jackie? Him, he's such a pain in the ass. I had him last year. Her, I know. I should have switched. I made such a mistake. Maybe you can help me study? Him, so I guess you're going to be up late? Her, yeah, this is looking like an all-nighter. What's up with you? He said, exams, but it's cool. I'm more worried about the football game on Saturday. We play Boise State Broncos. Her, I'll be there. When does it start? Him, 3 p.m. on Sunday. Gotta run to the gym. Her, okay, bye. I'll see you then. What time is the tailgate? She didn't end it first. She said way too much, and he didn't even make plans to see her. What a waste of time. Here is a much better example of how a texting conversation might play out. Him, hey, what's up? Her, 30 minutes later, studying. Just one word, right? Him, yeah, me too. Biology is kicking my ass. So what's up for the weekend? Want to do something together? Her, 10 minutes later. Sure, that sounds like fun. Okay, gotta get back to the books. Dot, dot, dot. The rule only this rule applies not only to calls, texts, and all other forms of instantaneous communication, but to dates too. A first date for a rules girl is 1 to 2 hours for coffee or drinks, or a couple of hours for a study date at the library, not hiking and biking for hours on end or an all-day outing at the beach. Too much too soon is never good for a relationship. Besides, it's easier to end a coffee or drink date in 1 or 2 hours than it is to end a day at the beach. That's why we politely decline first dates consisting of dinner and a movie or an outing to the amusement park. A guy will usually come on strong in the beginning and try to get a marathon first or second date if he thinks you'll let him. Even though he initially suggested such a long date, he may think you are too easy and eager and get bored by the third date if there even is one. You need to pace the relationship and let him gradually get to know you so he doesn't get too much too soon and move on to the next girl. Now, a word about S3X. Okay? You know how you know how in texting the numeral 3 has turned into the letter E upside down. Well, we have to be careful of the expectation of some guys that they have S3X on the third date. 3 meaning S3X. No way. And anybody who's only interested in that does not like you enough. He would be just not into you. So be careful of that. Do not allow a man to talk you into something like that. Okay, the authors continue. Your answer to a guy who suggests driving to the park for a picnic or drinks, dinner, and dancing for a first date would be, drinks sound good to me! Exclamation point. After 1 or 2 hours, you can look at your watch and say, I'm having a great time, but I really have to get going. If he asks why, you can just say you have a really big day tomorrow. You don't have to say with what? It's none of his business. If you feel that you must justify it some way, you can say you are busy with school or work or have an early morning session with your trainer. Be as mysterious as you can! Exclamation point. Exclamation point. If you are in college and your date consists of hanging out at a party or two, end it before he does. Never extend a date with, quote, let's see what's going on with Club G, dot, 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 end quote. Or let's go to another bar, And even if it's his idea to extend it, you should still say you can't. If you don't follow these rules about getting out of there first, you will not be a challenge. If he wants to spend more time with you, he can and will ask to see you again. Now, we're reading about challenging men in the rules. Not Your Mother's Rules, though. The New Secrets for Dating and Now with Their Daughters, too, by Fein Sherrie Schneider. Sherrie Schneider and Ellen Fein. Oh, yeah. Morsels of a Thought, number 1728. A second date, say the authors, should be 3 or 4 hours for dinner. A third date can be dinner and a movie for about 5 hours. A fourth date can be dinner and a show and coffee afterward for about 6 hours. But you end all these first. You get out of there. Of course, this rule is probably the exact opposite of what you want to do. When you meet a guy you like, you don't want the conversation or date to end. You want to know everything about him right away: his college major or where he works, what car he drives, his favorite sports team, what he likes to do for fun, why his last relationship didn't work out, his 5-year plan, and above all, how he feels about you. And you want to tell him your life story too. But marathon dates kill any mystery. Make him want to ask you out and ask you out again to learn more. Okay? Now, we are reading Hug Your Daughter and Other Rules for Mothers. I'm going to check and see how long this is before we continue it. It's a little too long, actually. We'll do it. Okay, chapter 3. This is for mothers who do the rules, who want their daughters to do the rules. Okay, Hug Your Daughter and Other Rules for Mothers. If you're reading this chapter, you are probably wondering how you can help your daughter with dating, no matter how old she is. You are an important part of this book. You can influence her in a way no one else can. In fact, during consultations, we always ask our clients, quote, "What does your mother think of this relationship?" End quote, because we value her opinion and perspective. Perhaps you have tried to help by giving your daughter a copy of the rules. Perhaps you have tried to lead by example by being rulesy in your own relationships. Mothers have written to us or scheduled consultations about their daughters. Many were frustrated watching them break rules or act out, or by the way their boyfriends were treating them. Sometimes they were concerned that their daughters had no boyfriends at all. But like with anything else, these mothers sometimes had to wait until their daughters were ready to listen. We tell them the same things we tell clients. In order for the rules to help, their daughters have to want to use them. They must trust their mothers to steer them on the right path. Now, the other day, the authors said that all of the authors are saying, don't give them what they need, give them what they want, because they're not going to do what they need anyway. Just like in my personal example, when I went to a bookstore and I saw this perfect book. It was called some kind of feng shui for somebody who had an incredibly hoarder house. And that says it all, doesn't it? Just that fucking one word, sorry. Check mark. So I bought the book. I almost bought the book. I brought it to the counter, and luckily I said to the guy at the counter, the man at the counter, I said, I don't know if I should buy this book. It's $10. And in my pocket I had exactly $11, which would have covered the, you know, and I thought to myself, well, I can spend the last of my month's money on this, or I can go on and look for something else for about $8, which I wanted to do at the time, and which I did later. But the man said, you can give it to them, but they're not going to do it anyway. So I thought, oh my goodness. See, you can know what your friends need to do, but they may not know, and they may not accept that from you. They may not accept that from you at all. Even you might even make them upset. So don't give people what they need as much as you give them what they want. Apparently so. That's more effective. That's just effective communication. All right. So let's go back to the authors. Hold on a second. I can't find my place. I can't find my place. So we will just talk about the rest of this. Okay. So actually, when you are doing the rules, you are giving them the information about yourself that's little as a time, uh, as little as you can at a time. That's why the first word was in the talk to you later bit part. The first word was studying. Sorry. So here we are. I am reading to you from the. I'm gonna I'm stuck. I'm stuck. We're bringing more virtue into the world with morsels of a thought. And we're bringing more wisdom into the world, wisdom from other people, because we have to find other people's life experiences and rely on their expertise to know the right things to do for ourselves. Because we're living in a technologically advanced world with AI coming, with AI here, and with our not knowing everything. The other authors have said something about processing, not even processing close to what we're hit with every second is 11 billion bits of information every second. And so we have to know the right things to do. But where do we get all that information? Because we have to get it from other people who have done their whole lives. Like we think of people like Oscar Wilde, we think of people like Ellen Fein and Sherrie Schneider. They're about 10 years older than me, I think. So they know. And then their daughters are younger than I don't have daughters. So their daughters are definitely younger than I am. And then we have to know what they do. So when you get wise people to speak their life experiences, you're getting a synopsis of what other people have learned and morsels of a thought. We know when we have morsels of a thought, we know the right thing to do. We can have more virtue as well. Doing the right thing for yourself is a form of virtue because it's just like having the air come down in an airplane. If you put it on yourself, then you can put one on your child. But if you try to put it on your child first, you might pass out. What good are you going to be if you pass out? It's the same way with life. It's the same way with friends. It's the same way with men. You have to take care of yourself. Otherwise, you could just bomb in front of other people. Just like I could bomb when I come here. If I haven't had my breakfast and I do my morsels of a thought show, I could go, right? Don't do that, Mary. Um Sorry. Oh my God. I'm not very wise. That part's clear. Sorry. Elephant and Sherrie Schneider today, folks. Okay. I'm gonna talk to you later and you take care. Oh my God. Oh my God. What am I gonna do next? I'm gonna sneeze is what I'm gonna do. Shit. Check mark today. I am not gonna share this video. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna share this video later. Okay? Old Kinderhook. Bye bye.